How you doing? How you feeling? How you living, baby? Back for another episode of the Bases Loaded podcast, brought to you by the Idiots Podcast Network. So, we're here. We're gonna keep doing our team previews. How we think that each division's gonna shake out from top to bottom. So, I'm back again with my main man, Adam. Adam, how you doing?
Feeling great. This is a great division to discuss about. I love all the teams here, and they're all going in very interesting directions. So fun. This is going to be fun.
I definitely agree. I mean, the NL West is definitely one of the most fun divisions in all of baseball, so I'm glad we get an opportunity to talk about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, obviously this is going to be like every other video. We're going to talk about the worst team, the team that we think is going to rank in last. First, and then we're going to work all the way up to first place, give our over-under thoughts, see what's going to happen this year, give our little preview. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start this right off, and my first team, Adam, I think it's both of our first teams here, it's going to be the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, very obvious.
Now, this is a team that didn't do anything in free agency besides pick up an old Mike Moustakas. Love Moose, but he doesn't add any real value to this team. I mean, they didn't really do much at all. I mean, I guess they picked up a couple bullpen arms, but I don't like this team. I don't like the players they have. I don't really understand why they went out and signed Chris Bryant like 2 years ago for a gajillion dollars. I don't like this team's thought process. I really don't think they have a lot of talent. I think the most talented player in this team is probably Ryan McMahon, or at least someone, that can do something, make this team interesting at a bare minimum, is him and CJ Cron. Now, how much value are they going to add to this team? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do a lot. Will they hit home runs? Yeah, they're in Colorado. They're going to hit home runs. But outside of that, their pitching is bad. Their relief is bad. Their ability to steal bases is bad. I mean, hell, even their ability to hit home runs is bad. So, this team fucking sucks. They fucking suck.
You said it. You mentioned it. The direction that they go in is questionable. Any talent that they have, any good player that they have, they either trade away for something really bad, or they just let them walk and get no value. So, and then they go out after trading Arenado.
Don't even talk about the Arenado trade. That was they gave money away in that deal. They actually they had to pay him more money to trade him.
Yeah, it's dumb.
They paid for some of his contract. That shit was so dumb.
Dumb.
Oh my god.
And then they go out and then they sign Chris Bryant literally the next offseason. It didn't make any sense. You're spending all this money to obviously be mediocre. You don't have any talent to surround these people with. Chris Bryant he's a good player. But on a team like this, he brings no extra value to a team with already no value.
To a lineup. What does that do? What does he add?
Nothing. He'll hit some pop and he'll get on base more than probably anybody else. But you're just gonna hit a bunch of 2-run homers with him and with Cron and McMahon behind him.
I mean, I'll give him that maybe Mike Moustakas does a little something. I mean, they got some old vets. They definitely have a bunch of vets. I mean, Blackman will hit and get on. Bryant might hit and get on and kind of move the things around the bases. Cron is a little streaky. We saw that last year. He really has his ups and downs. Could be a great player. Could be a terrible player. He has a lot of that Colorado effect in him currently. That's what a lot of people believe. That's what I currently believe. So I want to see how he's going to do this year, especially in a year I believe is a contract year. If I'm right.
For who?
For CJ Cron, I believe it's a contract year.
Oh, you might be right.
But, Ryan McMahon's going to be fun. This team doesn't have a lot else. Yeah.
Their pitching's really bad, too. They're just going to keep giving up runs.
So, look, I don't know what their over-under is. Adam, do you know how many games they won last year? I'm just telling you right now, I'm taking the under regardless. I don't care. This team is bad.
They won 68 games and 94 losses last year.
Yeah, their over-under's at 65.5. So,
wow.
Under. Because his team's garbage.
65, yeah, I'll definitely.
They play more teams that are going to kick the shit out of them. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
Their pitchers are going to let up so many runs, and their hitters aren't going to put any runs on the board. Yeah. Yeah, I could wholeheartedly agree with that as well.
Yeah, one of the most unexciting teams.
No, they might be the most unexciting team. They don't have any big prospects that they're waiting for. They don't have any talent that they're wanting to grow and develop. Yeah. They have nothing. They literally have nothing but old vets and dumb free agents.
I will give you that. I mean, they also have Randall Gritchert and Brandon Rogers, who are at this moment currently hurt. they will add a little bit to this lineup. Two guys who are, obviously Gerchik is a little older, Rogers is a little younger. I mean, these are two guys that will add a little bit of value to this team, but nothing that's really going to move the needle. So I'm going to be honest with you, let's just move right down the road. There's no reason to even talking about this team anymore. It's a lost cause.
It's disgusting.
So at my number four is definitely going to be a little different than Adams, and I think we're going to have a little bit of disagreement here, but it's going to be the San Francisco Giants for me. I just don't like this team's bats. When your best bat in the lineup is Jock Peterson or Michael Conforto, I'm not a fan. I'm really not. Especially when I can look at the Rockies lineup and go, I think they might actually have a little bit better of a lineup than this Giants squad. My only thing with the Giants is that, they got a young guy like Joey Bart really kind of developing, could be a potential star in this league. And their pitching staff is not something to be laughed about. They have one of the top pitching staffs in the league between, Logan Webb, Alex Cobb, Minaya, Stripling, Wood. I mean, they find a way to get this done, and they make it look effortless for a team that, doesn't have a ton of talent in the batting pool. So I really do like that their starting pitchers are absolutely phenomenal. Their bullpen gets the job done. They got Taylor Rogers. They got Taylor Rogers and they got Tyler Rogers. That's confusing.
And Camilo Duvall is also
He's very good, yeah. I like, and they even have I can't say his name.
Hello?
Anthony DeFascali. That's what his name is for right now. He's not bad either. He'll be a nice little sixth starter if they need it. They also have Mitch Haniger, a guy who will definitely add some pop to this lineup. I just have a hard time seeing how a team like this isn't going to end up selling at the deadline. They just don't have really anything else outside of pitching, and I don't know if they have any top prospects at the current moment. I'm not that informed, but I just don't like this lineup, Adam.
So
not at all.
What I like about this team is, you said it best, they're starting pitchers. They have 5 guys that are possibly top 100 starting pitchers in this league, and they're going to keep that ball inside the ballpark, obviously in such a big ballpark, as well as keeping the runs down, getting strikeouts. They do such a good job, and the coaching staff, the pitching staff that coach these guys, they do such a good job in developing these guys. Incredible what they do. And as well as this back end of the bullpen, they're going to be showing up in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning and keeping the runs down, not letting up stuff. They might have one of the lowest combined ERAs as a team. And then so you look at their lineup, and there's nothing that stands out. Jack Peterson is a really good bat. He's got good pop into his bat as well.
Yeah, I mean, he slugs against righties. Lefties, it's a little mid, but he slugs righties.
I do like him a lot. And everybody else, nothing particularly stands out, although I do love Mitch Haniger as well. I think that's a great pickup for them. Brings a lot to the table.
Fan favorite in the studio, man. Gotta say, love the Haniger, man. Always a quality
always
player.
Underrated. Do like what he brings to the table in every aspect of the game as well. And so when you're telling me that 2 years ago this lineup, who almost looks very similar to when it did 2 years ago and last year, were able to win 100 games and then 81 last year and still be fine, I still like this team. They're going to be around the same as they were last year, but as long as this team, this bat produces a few runs a game, they don't have to be the best offense in the league. They don't have to be the best offense in their division. As long as their pitching stays, perfect
Top
as what
tier?
they are.
That's the thing. Their pitching has to stay perfect. I find that just difficult.
Perfect is an overstatement. It just has to be exactly what they are, and it's really, 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 really good. They'll be fine. I think what they have is really good, and they're really well managed. I like this team. As the names don't pop it to you as much, it's a really good run team, managed team. That's what I like.
That's definitely true. They are always a very well-run organization. I believe Bruce Bochy, right? He's still the managing helm for them. I mean, look, I like this team in regards to pitching. I think they have a little bit of pop. Every guy's a little inconsistent. Really, that's what it comes down to. I think it'll be interesting to see what type of year Michael Conforto has. He played very well in the Mets prior to that injury that sidelined him for an entire season. He went unsigned last year. I think that this is going to be a big make or break year for him to really see if Michael Conforto was the guy the Mets thought he was for so many years before
shoulder surgery derailed him.
They're gonna be a solid team, but I could also understand why you have the Diamondbacks as a team being a bit better than them.
So since we just went over the Giants, you wanna do the over under for the Giants, or
Yeah.
should we talk about Arizona first?
We'll do the Giants.
So their over unders at 81.5. How many games they win last year?
They won 81.
Wow.
81 and 81.
Well, did they? I don't know if they necessarily lost anyone out of the lineup. Did they? I feel like they did. I feel like there's something I'm missing here that they
Evan
lost.
Longoria and Brandon Belt.
All right, so Brandon Belt was actually a very good first baseman for them. He did add a lot of value.
Yeah.
I will give him that. So,
But those are two also aging guys that, it was probably time to move off of.
no, that makes sense. I mean, granted, I'm still gonna say that they got a little worse. So, they also no, the White Sox had Rodon last year, right?
No, the Giants. Okay, the Giants.
Okay, the Giants lost Rodon out of that rotation. That's the big signing. Jesus, I was like, I thought they lost something bigger. couldn't remember what. But you know what though? That's what I'm saying. Like, you lose a guy like Rodon. I mean, I know their rotation is still phenomenal, but I just have a hard time seeing how they get back to those 81 wins or 82 wins this season. So I'm gonna go with the under. I think we're gonna see a bad season out of the San Francisco Giants.
I don't think we'll see a bad season. I'm going to take the over. I can't see them being a losing team just yet with this starting rotation, with this bullpen.
Fair enough. So we're going to keep moving on down the line here, folks. We're going to move right to my number 3 team, Adam's number 4 team, and that's actually going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, they've made some very interesting moves already this offseason. I mean, most recently they re-signed Corbin Carroll, a guy who's hasn't even really had a cup of coffee in the major leagues, to an 8-year major league deal. So I'm very intrigued to see how this deal kind of fleshes out, especially being a guy that we expect to have at least at a minimum 30 steals this year.
It was
a very exciting prospect in baseball that has already been paid and is gonna play regardless.
This was an Atlanta Braves signing right before they've even had enough to prove what they're worth. They go out and they sign them long term to a team friendly deal. And Corbin Carroll is an exceptionally good player. He does everything so perfectly. One of the fastest players in the league as well.
May I interject for a second? Because the one thing I will say is that the only difference between the way the Braves do this is that the Braves only bring these guys up for a year in the majors to see what they got in the league before they sign them.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Harris at least got a year in the league before they went, hey, here's some money. Same thing with what's called Acuna. I mean, he hasn't even played in the major leagues yet. We don't even know if this guy's good yet. He's good in AAA. But you're not going to sign a guy in AAA to $110 million for 8 years to play in a league he's never played in yet. I think that's going to be a very interesting thing come this season to see if Corbin Carroll's going to be worth the money and if Arizona really just shit the bed here or if
I don't think
they struck gold.
I think they struck gold. There's a lot of good things. Everybody's been praising Corbin Carroll ever since he's been, drafted and being a great prospect. There's a lot of good things to say about him because you gotta value his speed. You value his defense. Being last year, played 32 games last year. That's not too much, but batting .260 as a rookie, 4 home runs, only 2 stolen bases, but that'll greatly increase.
I think we'll definitely see an uptick in SBs.
Yeah,
definitely a nice little increase.
Well, without a doubt, and as he's only 22 years old. As he gets older, he's going to learn how to hit these MLB off breaking balls and be a much better hitter. He's going to grow and adapt. He has so much time.
He does have a lot of time.
And I like the commitment that they're staying to him. And it's not a lot per year. I forget the exact
I believe it's like
amount.
I don't know the math. I'm not even going to try to do the math right now.
Yeah. But for the most part, I think it's a good deal. And he's just the tip of the iceberg of this pretty solid lineup.
No, I mean, I agree, but I think that we should definitely start talking about, maybe some other players here just to kind of see what's even available. Also, I think he's going to be making about a little under 14 a year. Which isn't bad, but
it's a good contract.
Still. So let's talk about some of the other guys in this team. I mean, this team is not just a one-man show. They have guys like Ketel Marte who have been very good in the past. Other guys like Christian Walker, who hit 37 home runs last year at the first base position. Extremely underrated player. they picked up Lourdes Gurriel this year from the Toronto Blue Jays in a big trade to go out and get Gabriel Moreno, a catcher who's very young and could be very, very good for this team, depending on how they feel about Carson Kelly, a guy who's, been pretty mid in his MLB showing so far. They also have other young guys like Alec Thomas, who's been, touted as one of these very good center fielders that should be one of the next waves of center fielders. So I'm excited about this lineup. They even went out there and picked up Kyle Lewis. I mean, look, to me, this team is full of full of potential. They bring in a guy like Longoria to kind of hold down the fort, really teach these young guys something. I really like where their hitting is at. I think that their lineup, their starting 9, is going to be very fun all season long.
Yeah, it's a lot. What you said is correct. A lot of potential, especially in the top half of the lineup. You got to hope that Alec Thomas, can have a pretty good season. Carson Kelly or Moreno has a good season at the catcher spot.
Don't even forget about Jake McCarthy. I mean, he might be something special for this team.
Yeah, he could as well. He's going to have a really big something to prove a little bit. And then obviously shortstop is kind of an enigma for this team with only Nick Ahmed being there. But they're not too worried about that. I think this lineup is really good. But you move down to their starting pitching, and that's why you see they aren't, in my eyes, as good as the San Francisco Giants. Because you have, obviously, Zach Gallen, top pitcher in this league, could be a Cy Young candidate.
Robbie Ray 2.0 out here.
Better. Yeah, I think he's really better, honestly.
I agree.
But other than everybody else, they're old, they're aging. People that don't, get strikeouts like Zach Davies, Bumgarner's on his way out.
Before you say anything else, I'm sorry. They should have put Zach Gallen on the cover of MLB The Show instead of freaking Jazz Chisholm.
That's a good one.
And you know what? They were in the same trade. They were traded for each other.
That's right.
That's why I had to bring it up, because I went, you know what? Zach Gallen should have been on the cover of MLB The Show. He's proven more than Jazz Chisholm has proven in his career so far. But enough said. I mean, like you were saying, Adam, I do agree with this is a very interesting pitching staff.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very top heavy.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Mad Bum can do a little something. I mean, he hasn't been the best in the last couple of years, more of an innings eater than anything else. But, a guy like Merrill Kelly could potentially step up and be big for this team. A guy like Zach Davies, he's not the greatest, but he's another big innings eater. So I feel like this team is really just one, halfway, they're one starter away. They're one, San Francisco's out of the running, one trade away. Then all of a sudden being a high-end team.
I think they're more than one starting pitcher away. I don't like Davies. I don't like Ryan Nelson. Merrill Kelly could have a really good year, but he's about to be 35 years old.
Sometimes the older pitchers are better, man. They've been around a little bit. I mean, Merrill Kelly had to go back to the KBO to kind of figure his stuff out after it not working out in the league, and now he's able to get here because, he's been able to develop over time.
Hopefully, yeah, and hopefully it works out. I couldn't tell you much about him.
The one thing I will say is I love their bullpen. I think they actually have a top bullpen in the league, something that's highly underrated. I mean, they have a lot of names that are not necessarily household names, and guys like Kevin Ginkel and Joe Mantiply. But they have, those guys are phenomenal. And that's not even to talk about other guys like, Andrew Chafin, quality reliever. Miguel Castro has been around the block a little bit, but you know what? He's a guy who I've watched pitch in person. I very much enjoy watching him pitch. And that's, funny enough, they also pick up Jerry's Familia, a former Met, who makes me laugh because he's he raises your blood pressure about 1,000% every time he walks in the field. But, they also have other guys like Mark Melancon, who's currently hurt with some shoulder discomfort, but will add a ton of value to this team. This bullpen is awesome, Adam. I really think that if they're able to pick up just one more starter, they can make a run at something very fun this year. They really do have they got the bats for it. They got the bullpen for it. They're really just one or two starters away from really being that next young up and coming team.
Yeah, they're without a doubt their starting rotation is what kind of scares me. Zach Gallen only pitches once every fifth game, and everybody else, it's big question marks for me. I do like. I think Merrill Kelly could have a really good year, and that'd be a good 1-2 punch for them. But on everybody else, I can't get excited about. I can't get excited about Mad Bum anymore. I'm never excited about Zach Davies. And
no, there's no reason to get excited about Mad Bum at this point. But the good thing is that they didn't really lose anything from the last year. They more or less gained, which is really a huge point to hit home here. They didn't,
being able to just get players and really become a better franchise is something that's huge.
They're-
It's something that excites me.
They're really young in my eyes. I think they're just 1 year away, just one, and then I think we could really seriously be talking about them.
No, that's pretty fair. I'll give you that there. So look, we're gonna keep going on. What's it called? We know that. What was their record last year? Because
The
I don't
Diamondbacks
know.
were fourth at 74 and 88.
So they're actually at 74. They're at 74.5. So they're gonna win one more game they did last year. And Adam, I'm taking the over on this one.
Definitely taking the over.
I'm loving it.
Without a doubt, they
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
are a better team than last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. I like Arizona. I like the things they've done to improve this year, and I definitely think they're gonna be a much better franchise this year than they've been in the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep it going. At my number 2, I think we have the same number 2, and that's gonna be the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
You know, this is a team that they were trying to win the World Series last year, and similar to the Mets, with 100 won over 100 games, just couldn't get it done.
Historically good regular season last year, and then obviously just as in Dodger
Historical
fashion,
collapse in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
that's just Dodger fashion in the past 10 years besides 2020.
Yeah.
But I still do like this team. I mean, you can't forget that they did have that run of a great regular season. And, yeah, they probably lose more than they gain more, but they still have, you still top off your lineup with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. You can't look past that. Those are two guys that are the top at their position, top 5 at least in their position. You have to respect these guys. And then everybody else in this lineup, too, is proven guys that can hit the ball pretty well. Besides, when you now the difference between last season and this season is the back end of this lineup, where you start to see Trace Thompson, who, in my eyes, is really not. He can play defense pretty well, but hitting the baseball is not very good for him.
Not really in his repertoire, as we might say.
Now, and with Gavin Lux out, you have to stick
Miguel Rojas
and Miguel Vargas at second.
Well, let's also not forget that they do have Chris Taylor, jack of all trades, can play just about any position besides catcher in the field. So I'm going to be intrigued to see where they plug him into the lineup.
Very true.
Because we might see him at second and shortstop, playing a lot of middle infield this year.
This lineup is very top heavy and it's amazing. The bottom half, you just got to hope that they put something together. But everything else about this team, I mean, how could you not get excited for? They're typical fashion. They have usually good bullpen and a really good starting lineup. It's always with Clayton Kershaw being there, Arias being really good, Dustin May finally coming back for a full season. Hopefully has a really good year. Goslin will be here for the beginning of the season. Now, then you just have little old Noah Syndergaard sitting there.
Oh,
Will be an
Lord.
interesting year for him. He'll have a lot of run support, but I don't know. We'll see how he goes.
I mean, they just lost a lot to free agency this year. They
That's
didn't
their
really
big-
find the way to get back, but I did like the moves they made. I like the signing of David Peralta and JD Martinez. Those are two guys who are really going to hit the ball for you, and really, they might not look like needle pushers, but these are guys who are going to move the needle a little bit and really help this team out in ways that you wouldn't think.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I think something that's going to affect them a lot more than anything else is going to be that Gavin Lux injury. If Gavin Lux had not gotten hurt, I think this lineup looks a lot better, especially with a guy like Chris Taylor in there playing outfield, playing second base, really making sure the back end of this lineup looks just as good as it has in years past. I would like it a lot more had he not gotten hurt. I really do think that.
It would have been a whole different story.
Now, my one thing is that their starting rotation is a little interesting right now. Obviously, we know Tony Gonsolin. I believe he has a broken toe. Sprained ankle. So, we will see him back into this rotation very soon. Julio Urias, good pitcher. You can get he's young, solid, gets the job done. Clayton Kershaw, obviously, he's one of the greatest pitchers I've ever watched in my entire lifetime. Obviously, I believe he's starting to come to a little bit of a close to his career slowly. Syndergaard, I'm not a huge fan of. Dustin May's fun. And this starting pitching is going to be good. It's going to be very fun. They're going to have guys that are going to make this interesting for every team. It's going to be no easy runs scored, especially from their bullpen. I mean, I believe their bullpen, they just kind of constantly find guys that get the job done. And one guy that I think might really end up stepping up into that closer role this year might be Brusdar Graterol, a guy who, they brought him up to see if he could be a starter in the league, and he had phenomenal stuff. He just couldn't go with all the mileage. So I think that, maybe using him as a closer, really just kind of giving him that role might really help out this team and really kind of, fortify that bullpen down for them. I really do think that's not a bad option. I hope that Walker Buehler can come back this season. I doubt he will, though, due to the fact that they signed a guy like Noah Syndergaard just to make sure they can hold down this pen and really make sure they have enough guys to make it work. So, I think that they have something going for them. They'll definitely be a good team this year regardless. Don't doubt them. Don't count them out, but they're definitely not the Dodgers of past.
Without a doubt. But I think at the same time, everybody knows they'll still be a very star-studded and strong team and a tough team to beat as well.
Oh, 100%. So look, Adam, I gotta know, what was their record last year?
Dodgers' regular season record last year in first place was a historic 111 wins with 51 losses.
So their current over/under is at 96.5 wins.
That's pretty solid. That's exactly
not bad.
That's exactly where I would think them as, really.
See, it's funny that you say that because I would actually have them at the under. I don't think they're going to hit 100 wins. I think they might just hit 90 wins, but I don't think they're going to get back to that 90. I don't think they're going to hit, more than 96 wins. I don't think they're going to be in the upper echelon of teams this year like they've been in years past.
I still like them compared to other teams than, say, like the Central Division. Even their division winners, they can still compete with those teams. So I still like this team. What'd you say, 50, 96?
96.5, so they got to win 97 games. It's tough. 97 games is a very weird spot for a team that lost a guy like Trey Turner and really, lost a lot of lineup pieces, lost a lot of bullpen pieces. Come on. Think about this. They lost Trey Turner, Tyler Anderson, Justin Turner, Bellinger, Chris Martin, Andrew Heaney, Craig Kimbrell, Gallo. Tommy Kahnle. They just kept losing guys this year, and I don't know how you're going to be able to recover from losing so many guys and really not making the biggest effort to, kind of refill those spots.
I think they'll still be a 90-win team, but I will take the under. I think they'll sneak in right around that 96 wins, 95 wins. Still be a playoff team, still be there maybe as a wild card, but I'll take the under.
All right, I'm glad I could convince you. So
I was gonna lean there anyway, but thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we're gonna get to our last team here. We believe that the San Diego Padres, after a giant free agency, is gonna take home the NL West crown.
And how could you not?
That's what I'm saying. You go out there, you pick up Bogarts. Ooh, excuse me. You go out there, you pick up Bogarts. You go out there, you re-sign Yu Darvish. You kind of just solidify the rest of your team. They already had a very stacked team. Yeah, they lose guys like Jerks and Profar who signed nowhere. Yeah. They lost a couple guys who have been good in the past, but not necessarily the biggest game changers for them, So I'm excited to see how this lineup plays because signing a guy like Xander Bogaerts really does change the way your lineup works. Now, I'm excited for the way this team is. I'm excited for how many stars they have, between Soto and Cronin. What's called Soto and Croningsworth. That shouldn't be in the same convo unless you're talking about them on the same team. Soto and Machado and Bogarts. I really like that three-headed monster in their lineup. I think they're going to be a very good team. Their pitching is, I like their pitching. I don't like Seth Lugo moving to starter. Obviously as a Met fan, I am a Seth Lugo fan, but I just don't think he's going to be as valuable as a starter as he was as a reliever. I think we may end up seeing a little bit of shifting, as this season carries on. Plus, we haven't even talked about the fact that they have Fernando Tatis coming back sooner than later. He'll be back after, I believe, 20-something games.
Yep.
So that's going to be very, very earth-shattering for this team that, finds a way to win games with all the... finds a way. They are the way to win games. They have all the talent to win games.
This is the easily top, there's going to be in middle of April the best 1, 2, 3, 4 lineup you'll ever see in a very long time. Bogarts, Soto, Machado, and Tatis. That's how it's going to go, and it's going to be incredible and almost impossible to get all four of these guys out in a row. And then you look at their rotation as well. Darvish, Snell, Musgrove is a great three-headed dragon. Michael Wacha is a solid 4. you can't complain with. Seth Lugo will be as that number 5 or Nick Martinez.
I'm telling you, they're going to have Lugo in the pen and do, like, every so often. I think that what they should do with Lugo is they should have him in the pen for most of the time, and then, like, every, like, week and a half you have him start a game.
Yeah, he'll be
I think that would be the most optimal way
he'll
to
be
pitch
that sixth
Lugo.
man in a 6-man rotation. And I think later in the season, you're probably right. He will be starting to be used more in the bullpen. But this bullpen at the same time,
It's a good bullpen,
very
man.
solid, top to bottom, especially at the top end. Josh Hader, as bad as a second half as he did with the Padres, he's still Josh Hader. I think he's going to have a great bounce back year. No way he does exactly what he did last half. And Robert Suarez, Luis Garcia, great number 2 and number 3 in this bullpen.
And don't even
as
forget
well.
about Drew Pomeranz. Shout out Nathan. I mean, I love this guy. He's a great pitcher, nice lefty to have in the pen. This pen has guys. They have the ability to do it. I like this team's direction. And they picked up old vets like they picked up Matt Carpenter and they picked up Nelson Cruz, some older guys who can still get the job done and have proved that in the past years. I mean, I'm really excited for where this lineup is heading, and I think that it's going to be really hard to beat the San Diego Padres when they come into town.
Yeah, without a doubt, they might be. They are honestly the top team in the NL.
That's what I'm saying. I think they are the top team in the entire NL, besides the Mets. I think the Mets are, pitching wise, I think we have better pitching than the Padres at the current moment. But I think it's definitely neck and neck between us.
Without a doubt, but this is easily the best lineup in the league. You can't top these what talent that they have, and as well as the veterans that they have on this team as well, and even young guys. As Hyesung Kim had a really good season last year. But yeah, you can't say more about this team. They are the team to beat. They had a really good playoff run last year as well.
Very true. Sadly, they beat our Mets.
Exactly. They're going to be everybody's. They're playing with a target on their back this year, and they know it, and they're excited for it too.
Watch out, San Diego, because we're coming for you. It's going to be a great year to watch baseball, I'll tell you that.
It's going to be a great year for baseball.
So, Adam, I want to know, what do you have their win record at for last year?
Last year, they were second in their division at 89-73.
Well, their over-under for this year is actually at 93.5 games. And that's going to be something I'm taking the over of.
I'm going to smack that over there.
I think they're going to be a 100-win team.
They have the best potential in this division to get 100 wins, and definitely almost in the NL to have 100 wins in this team. Really excited for them. That's an easy over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a lot of fun here. So, with that being said, folks, I mean, that's our NL West preview. Adam, you have anything you'd like to say to the folks at home?
No. This is, be wary of the NL West for years to come.
Fair enough. So from us at the Idiots Podcast Studio, thank you and have a great day.